discipline and motivation are the same thing. They're not. Kobe used to say, you don't negotiate with yourself. You write your plan down, and then you have to live and die by that plan. That's how you create that separation, which we've talked about, right? You only achieve that if you're willing to do, if you commit to doing what it is that you're supposed to do, whether or not you feel like it. Discipline trumps motivation at all times. What's up, everybody? Welcome to No Limits with Dr. Thierry Jacquemin. I am your host, Dr. Jacquemin. I'm a board-certified internist, as a lot of you guys know by now. We're going to talk today about some of my favorite stuff. We're going to talk about the concepts of discipline. We're going to talk about performance. We're going to talk about how to enhance performance, how to enhance productivity. We're going to talk about the marked distinction between discipline and motivation, which a lot of people don't quite understand. It's a subject that I deal with on a daily basis as I talk to people. So back to my probably most fundamental obsession, which is how do I extract the most out of myself? How do I get the most done? How do I have the most impact? How do I impact the lives of other people as much as I possibly can on a bigger and better and more effective scale on a daily basis, okay? That's sort of like this pervasive thought that's been in this brain of mine for a long time. That's how I try to live my life. That's how I try to help people that come across. This certainly is how I try to help my patients and my clients and so forth, right? So first things first, the idea that discipline and motivation are the same thing. They're not. There are a lot of so-called motivational speakers out there that sort of rely on this rah-rah movement of get it done, get more done, this, that. You can picture, the motivational music behind you and all this other stuff. And those things can be great, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm all for the Rocky Balboa music playing behind me as I do my push-ups. But I'm here to tell you that has a limit that will only carry you so far. Where you make the most difference, where you create the most separation from your competition is not in those moments. You create that separation from having the bloody discipline to do what it is that you're supposed to do, whether or not you feel like doing it. That's where things break apart, right? Because the person who's motivated relies on this big surge of dopamine and adrenaline. Great. If you have that moment, awesome. We can all relate to that. You have that moment, you get a little bit more work done. Great. You get another 3 sets done in the gym. Great. Whatever the case may be. But that doesn't carry you the next day when you have to wake up at 4 a.m. and get the same thing done. It doesn't carry you the next night when you're exhausted and you still have to do what it is that you have to do. What carries you during those moments is your discipline. Back to what I said before. You have to do what you're supposed to do, what you've set out to do, whether or not you feel like doing it. That's what separates adults from children, right? Children rely on emotion. Oh, I want to eat this. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I don't want to do this, whatever the case may be. They get away with it because they're children. Obviously, it makes sense. If you're an adult, especially if you're an adult committed to achievement, committed to getting the most out of what it is that you've set out to do, then sometimes it's going to suck. In fact, I would say a lot of times it's going to suck, but it doesn't change the fact that you have to do it, right? Or you just accept the fact that you're only going to have minimal impact, you're only going to have minimal achievement, and that's what it's going to be for you, and you're going to be happy with that, and you're going to be somewhere right in the sea of mediocrity. I don't know about you, but to me, that doesn't appeal to me in any way, right? Being somewhere in the middle is a bunch of nonsense, right? You want to create separation. Not only separation from others, not only separation from competition, but you also want to see every day how much more you can do, right? And I don't just mean more in terms of work achievement, right? If you say, well, I'm committed to being the best, to be a parent, great, right? I'm a parent too. Great. Then commit yourself every day to be a better parent. What can I do more? How can I give more? How can I be more present? How can I be more intentional? If you're going to do the same thing for work, how can I be the best at what I'm doing? How can I be the best version of what I do? How can I be better than what I was yesterday? If you're an athlete, for some reason, everybody only thinks about the concept of athletics, but it applies to everything else. But athletes for sure, right? Higher level athletes for sure. We always talk about, the greats, right? We talk about Kobe, we talk about Michael Jordan, we talk about different sports, same thing. If you look at those guys, it's not just about whatever God-given talent, whatever God-given ability. On the contrary, they complemented that by doing a lot more work that was a lot more intentional, a lot more productive, and a lot more voluminous than their competition. That's how you create that separation, which we've talked about, right? You only achieve that if you're willing to if you commit to doing what it is that you're supposed to do, whether or not you feel like it, right? Mike Tyson had a quote, right, years ago that said, basically discipline is doing what you don't necessarily feel like doing at that moment, but doing it like you love it, right? You have to wake up every day. You have to say, what are my objectives? What did I set out to do? And then you have to fucking go after it, period. Okay? Doesn't matter if that day you don't feel like it. Doesn't matter if something hurts. It doesn't matter if you're sad, if you're happy, if you broke up with your girlfriend, if this happened, if that happened, if you haven't slept properly, if you haven't eaten properly, yesterday I felt this. It doesn't matter. What you have to do is what you have to do, period. Because again, you're an adult, right? You're an adult committed to performance. That's where the great separator are. So I don't have anything against people who talk strictly on motivation, right? Who get you hyped up, you jump up and down, you have some music, you have this, you have that. Great, right? Like that's what I tell people, the pre-workout effect. You take some pre-workout supplements. I take them also. Great. You take them when you need it. You take them when you want to get something a little bit more and so on. But that's not what's going to carry you to get out of bed, right? So a clear example. Let's say, I take this stack every day because it makes my workouts better in the morning. Phenomenal. You can take it, but you still need the discipline to get out of bed, right? You're not going to magically skip that step. You still have to get out of bed. And what gets you out of bed when you're comfortable and you're warm and you're cozy under the covers is not that pre-workout. It's not the motivation. It's not the music. What gets you out of bed is just the stark discipline to open your damn eyeballs, don't hit the snooze button, and do what it is that you have to do, which is get up out of bed and say, I'm going to go get after whatever it is that I'm trying to get after, right? If you look at high performers in any field, whether it be athletes, whether it be entrepreneurs, whether it be business people, whether it be physicians, whatever it is, what separates you, what's going to separate you from whatever endeavor you're trying to master, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve is going to be the discipline. The discipline to have less food than you want to have less alcohol than you should, to whatever it is the case may be. But certainly we can quantify that by what you can actually produce, right? Which is going to be from the standpoint of discipline. Discipline before anything else. Again, I'm going to say it again because sometimes people get that wrong. It's about doing what it is that you set out to do. You make your list, you prepare. You don't just react to the universe, right? You don't say, today the sky's blue, so I'm going to do it. But, tomorrow it's raining, so I'm not going to. That's not how that works. You do it because you set out to do it. You make your plan before, a day before, a week before, a month before, whatever it is. And then perfect example, like Kobe used to say, you don't negotiate with yourself. You write your plan down, and then you have to live and die by that plan. It's very simple, right? Achievement, performance, and ultimately reaching your limits is actually very simple. It's complicated to do it. It's hard to do it on a daily basis. But the actual plan and the actual carrying out of it, it's really, really bloody simple. You have to do it. Doesn't matter what you're going through. Doesn't matter the whirlwind that you may have behind you. You still owe it to yourself. You owe it to those around you, to your family, to your friends, to your business partners, to whoever. You still have to show up. And the way that you show up is with the discipline to do it every single day. Period. Military style. That's the only way that you actually get to where you need to get to. Period. Enough said about that, but I think very, very important. I hope that you guys got something out of it. And as a reminder, discipline trumps motivation at all times. Again, I encourage you to like, to share, to subscribe to our channel. Hopefully you loved it. Hopefully you got something out of it. I want some feedback. If you don't like it, still share it. Still do all that stuff that we said. Why? Because hopefully somebody else will actually get something out of it. I want to also thank our sponsors here, Smart Invest, Power Boost, Junglehouse Studios, LUXE Galore. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you want to interact with me, don't hesitate. Send messages. I'll reply. We want to create a community of badassery. See you guys soon.